have over 7 teams building APIs for the OBill program. And this program enables QBO to be able to sell their product, subscribe their product, and offer subscriptions to global customers. All of our teams are developing public and internal APIs, and the teams are interdependent on one another. One of the things I was concerned about is that teams really weren't talking enough about their dependencies, so I wanted to create a fun game where they could come together and share with each other what their dependencies were. So I came up with this idea from an Agile conference using Legos. The Legos are, blue means a public API, green is internal, yellow is IUS, and red is for BRM and CyberSource. And to be able to get an internal API, you had to go talk to that other team and tell them how you were going to use it. We then had the QA team assemble it into an entire workflow. I'm going to have Linda talk about the workflow that we used and then walk you through what that workflow is.
Hi, my name is Linda Kegley. I'm the QA manager for OBill. And the team's going to be walking you through a workflow for accountant resubscribe. An accountant resubscribe is used when an accountant has a client underneath them, a client business that has a subscription, and the accountant themselves is paying for the subscription, and they end up inactive and they need to come back and resubscribe, maybe because of a payment failure. In this scenario, we're going to do a payment failure. Thank you.
One of the key APIs that we use in this flow is the Get Eligible Migration Offers public API. I'd like Rick to talk about how that is assembled.
Okay. Get Eligible Migration Offers is a public API, and the purpose of it is to retrieve a set of offers that a customer can use to migrate. First thing this API does is it calls an internal API called Get Accountant Subscription to get information about the accountant. Next, it calls internal Get Account to get information about the client. It uses this information to call internal Get Eligible Migration Offers, which actually retrieves the offers from the OBill database corresponding to those attributes. And as part of this, it calls internal Get Offer, and it calls BRM Get Packages to get charge information.
Great, thank you. Another key API in our flow is direct sign-up. I'd like to have Sangi talk about how that API is constructed.
Sure, thanks Jennifer. So this is the direct sign-up workflow. So direct sign-up is a public API which is used to create a subscription for an accountant or a small business direct customer. So we first make a call to ticket authentication to verify and validate the customer who's making a direct sign-up call. So once the security is validated, then we make a call to the IUS get rem. So the IUS get rem validates the account information or the company information. And then the internal get account, with the account ID, we get the account information of the customer. Then we make a call to the get persona to validate the personal details of the customer who's signing up. And the internal get offer call gets the offers and validates with the offer that's being signed up. The get legal entity is to validate the country code of the customer who's signing up. And get code, so the get code is to get the pricing information from BRM. And so all of this validations was mainly done for the payment for validating the accountant and to see if he's eligible to sign up and make a call to the CyberSource. So all the financial validations were done, and we make a call to CyberSource to establish the payment information of the customer. And once that is established, then a call to the update account is made to update the account information and create the subscription. So this call is an internal API where we update the grants in OII and also update the entitlement state and service state in the webs. So basically for a paid customer, it would be active and paid. So this is where we maintain the state of the information. And then it writes to the process subscription queue. So process subscription is an async piece which later communicates to BRM. So at this point, once it's written to the queue, it sends a message back to the QBO and sends a success message back to the QA saying the accountant is signed up. So this is a direct sign-up flow.
Great. Thank you, Sangi. I'm now going to have Manisha and Kevin explain to you how all of these public and internal APIs come together in the accountant resubscribe workflow. Manisha?
Thank you, Jennifer. So for the QuickBooks wholesale product, we have the accountant sign up, and then we sign up the individual, and then have the individual migrate into the accountant subscription. Okay.
So I'll take you through the first part of the workflow, which is creating the subscription for the accountant. The first part of it is to establish an identity with Intuit, and we do that through iOS, or the Identity User Service. The first step is to call the create user, and so we create a username and password for the QBO customer, and then we'll generate a ticket for that user. And what that uses for security purposes, so that way we can make sure we have a valid user and they're able to call our public APIs. Next, we'll make a call to create realm in iOS, which establishes a unique identifier for the accountant client. And then we will call create persona, which establishes an identity for the responsible party, which may or may not be the same as the accountant. Once we've done those 4 things and established a Intuit identity, we will call get offers. This is the first public API we call, which will display to the customer which offers are available for them to purchase, in this case, the accountant offers. Following that, we call another public API, create account, where we create the account for the accountant in OBill. And that's followed by the big public API call, which is direct sign up. In this part of the workflow, we're actually creating the trial subscription for the accountant. Because this is a trial subscription in the workflow, the next step we do is to update the accountant's payment information with a valid credit card. So that way, once they have finished their trial and they're getting billed, we're billing them with a valid credit card. And Manisha will walk you through the next portion.
So we have the accountant sign up for subscription. Now we repeat the steps that we used for the accountant to sign up, and we sign up the client. So we repeat the steps for direct sign up. Then we can migrate the client in to the accountant subscription. So we make call to iOS create relationship, which results in an invitation email sent to the client with the for migrating into the accountant subscription. The next is an iOS call to migrate in customer, which maps the user IDs of the client with the accountant. Then we make a call to get eligible migration offers, and this returns the eligible offers for the client to migrate in with, depending on the accountant subscription. Then we make a call to migrate in, which is the next public API. Now this is what brings in the client into the accountant subscription. The next step is to update payment with a bad credit card, like for example a credit card that has expired. We do this in order to be ready to simulate the accountant subscription getting into the inactive state. After this step, we run billing, which is not depicted here, but and we use it only for testing purposes, where we run billing and we move time so that we simulate the accountant's resubscription into the system. When the accountant resubscribes after the time period, permitted time period, now the accountant subscription is back into the active state, and the usage is as normal for that subscription that the accountant owns.
Wow, this is all just for one workflow? It's amazing the complexities and interdependencies. But this really does a good job of showing how we are leveraging the reusable services to deliver onto its strategic services vision.
Great. Thank you, everyone. This was really